Arsenal continue to prove that they're committed to two things and two things only: winning the football match and angering the neutral. This is the Arsenal Vision Post-Match Podcast. My name is Elliot. You can block me on Twitter, Yankee Gunner. That's right, another classic rustling the neutral, annoying the neutral, the featured game, the last game of the Saturday, everybody watching, and Arsenal just boa constrictor Fulham to death. Snooze fest. What's a snooze fest if you're an Arsenal fan? It's a win. It's 3 points. It's top of the table. And if I have to shave off a part of my eyebrows, good luck for this team.
This eyebrow's getting a lot of press, mate.
I don't know if I'm willing to do it or not, but that's beside the point. I am here with two intelligent and erudite men who are going to tell you all about that game while I say wacky shit. Hello, patrons. We love you. It is our instant reaction. It's an away match, which means we are blessed to have me not have to say something dumb like, oh, that Clive thing I haven't heard yet is the smartest thing I've ever heard in my life while I wait to receive. Yeah, you love it. Here's Clive. Hello.
Hello.
And Paul.
Woohoo! Is it erudite or is it erudite? And are you doing a Nwanyeri on it?
I don't know. I don't know. I don't know any of that, but I do know Arsenal are top of the league, Paul. Did you notice that?
I did, yes. It was kind of a major focus for me for the last 2 hours or so. So I'm a very happy person.
Clive, did you notice that we are top of the league?
Yeah, I did. I noticed that we weren't top of the league at kickoff, though. So despite the fact that we've all booked our hotels for next May and we're on open top bus in our minds, we actually are only 3 points ahead of everybody. So which could change in a weekend, right? So got to keep focused.
And he's pulled it all back down. All the energy and effervescence and enthusiasm of 3 points away, which we did not get last season. I will tell you we're on pace to concede about 14 goals this season, and maybe on pace to score about 16 and win the league. So brilliant. I love it. No, score 38 goals. We'll concede 14. Win every game 1-0. It'll be fine. The math wasn't mathing there, but just pretend. I think, you know what? We'll have a quick chat. No, I'm going to put it to the back of the pod. You know what? Executive decision. I'm going to put it to the back of the pod. We're going to do our headlines because that's the format. That's what we do. We're going to do headlines, stock rising, stock falling, and then maybe we'll have a quick chat on the penalty being nullified because I think it's worth a quick chat. But we're going to put it to the back of the pod. We are top of the league. Paul, you usually have a headline that, in 120 words or less sums up the day. What do you got today?
Do I really? I think that was the old me. 1-0, I'll take it. Narrow pitch, good shape from Fulham. Tight game. Was always going to, by halftime, I'm like, this is either going to require patience from us and zipping it around and moving us faster or a set piece. I'm very, very happy with this performance. I'm even okay with the first half. I think that was kind of a bit inevitable. They're very, very good. It's been a bogey ground for us, a bogey fixture. And we were ratcheting it up as we went. I'm okay with it. So sorry about the neutrals. I thought this was kind of inevitable that we built and got better and got stronger, and we did. And I love it. There will be games like this on our victorious romp to winning the league. I'm totally good with this.
Yeah, I think that's right. I've got some stats on the screen, but if you're just listening to the audio recording, it was 16 shots to 9. They had 0 shots on target, so 0 expected goals on target is how that works. 1.88 expected goals for Arsenal, 0.4 for Fulham. They had no big chances. We had 3 of them. We could have had an even bigger chance if we had a penalty, which we did not. On another day, I think maybe we take a couple chances or balls bounce a little differently, and this is a little more comfortable, but it's job done. And then over to the other data that I like to look at, the one that always stands out to me is touches in the opposition box, 45 for Arsenal, 16 for Fulham, and those 16 probably all came in the second half because they did not have the ball in the first half. That's for sure. We had 71% possession in the first half, finished with 63% possession. Clive, I agree with Paul's headline, but I'm curious where you will go with yours.
I had 2 headlines. One was just get on the bus.
See, he's the superstar, Paul, right? We each get a headline.
No,
Clive's like, I get 2 headlines, and you have to take the green Skittles out of the bowl of Skittles. But that's okay. That's okay.
Don't do that. It's embarrassing. So one was just get on.
Who I am.
Just get on the bus and go home. But it's similar to Paul's. But I suppose the other one is just keep answering questions because the last 3 games, Newcastle, we lost that one, didn't we, last year? West Ham, we lost that one, didn't we, last year? And Fulham away.
Mikel spoke about it pre-match, Clive.
Yeah,
These are the wrongs he wanted to right. Yep.
Just keep answering questions, right? So that's 8 points up, right, compared to this time last year on those 3 games alone. And you just don't care how you get it. You move on. No one cares about our 1-1 draw at Fulham last year. And I bet anyone from outside Arsenal can barely remember it, right? So, and no one's going to remember this game. Just keep answering questions. And what I really like, that certain players knew what this meant. A few were a bit sloppy, but they got rattled by other players who were not sloppy, telling them to get on their game. So there's a collective focus there, which just looks different. The mindset is different. You can see it. We can all see it. Even when we're not playing well, you can still see the underlying mindset to come out of there with 3 points. We were coming out of there with 3 points no matter what. You know, and despite my nerves and angst at 1-0, I wish it was 2-0, and then we could have enjoyed it. But 1-0. So, yeah, just keep answering questions, get on the bus and go home and leave everyone else to talk about our style and how we're doing it versus when we're at top of the table, basically. You know, don't let people criticize us when we're like 10 points behind Liverpool. That's what we don't want. That's where we were last year.
Yeah, I don't see us being there this year. That's for sure. Well said, Clive. Paul, any thoughts on Clive's, I think we have to say it, superior headline?
Oh, stop it.
Yeah, look, as always, he is embodied the body Arsenal. Yeah, no, not really. I think I think it's one of those where people will comment on our way of playing and our pragmatism and our this looks like a really strong team going, knowing what's playing the game that's ahead of them. Like you could try to play a different kind of game. You're going to get hurt. That's one of the things I think Arteta gets right. He plays the game that's ahead of him. If he has a particular selection of players that's not the players he wants, he plays the game, the game that squad earns, that team earns. This was the game ahead of us. I think we got it right. I think Arteta got it right. It was going to be like this. So, yeah, I'm fine with it.
Clive, can I just ask you a little bit? I don't want to go too main pod here, but I do want to just ask you what you think of the shape. It looked very 4-2-3-1 to me with Leo, Eze, and Saka in front of Rice and Zubi, with Rice pushing on, obviously, times or Calafiore pushing on, and Gyokeres sort of nominally ahead of them. But I don't know if it worked. I don't know. What did you think of the 4-2-3-1?
I haven't seen the average yet, so I'll tell you what I picked up on. Trossard was wider than he was against Newcastle when he dropped in a lot more and created a bit more of an inside player. Calafiore was definitely inside in the first phase of that game. So I thought he was excellent. And if he scores that goal, I think we have a 2-0 win and we'll be a lot more relaxed, talk about a wonderful open play goal, switch of play, blah, blah, blah. But he just galloped offside. Eze, I felt, maybe started on the right and tried to drift central in the second half. Worked the game out just before he got hooked. We'll talk about Eze later on. I won't go too big on that. And the rest is just Arsenal football, right? We go to our forward when we need to. We squeeze up behind. We refill the bucket quicker than them. We win the second ball, then we play from there. And so I don't look at it really. I look at what we're trying to achieve. The big difference to Newcastle was Calafiore's position was a lot more internal for me, and Trossard was more external. So I understand why Trossard plays, because he's more secure on the ball. Martinelli needs a game that's sort of in front of him, where lots of ball carrying. Maybe our position is a little bit deeper and we can go. And when he comes back into the interior, I get nervous because his head's on the ball. His picture's getting smaller and smaller and smaller. And I think, mate, just pop it off all you quickly before you get ambushed, because you can't see anything. When he's got his head down looking at the ball and he's one-on-one in the wide areas, I don't stress so much. So you can see why Trossard's playing. I couldn't help. I'm sure I'm not the only one. This was a Martin Odegaard day, right? This is when he steps on, give me the ball, you lot, you're all crap. I'll take care of things. You know what I mean? And get us going. And we were waiting for someone to do that. And that someone was a number 7, right? So, which he was magnificent, but we'll come on to that, no doubt.
Yeah. Paul, any thoughts on the 4-2-3-1 and how that worked a little bit before we get my headline, which is, I think, why people are here?
Yeah, like I think it's very 4-2-3-1.
Why are you laughing at that? Yeah.
I think the important distinction with it is how fluid Zubimendi and Rice are, in that they're not sitting back. One of them's always doing something. One of them's always pushed up, moving around. More often than not, Rice. So him and Eze are swapping sides. Calafiori popping into the same spaces. So there's a lot going on there besides, the midfield in a 4-2-3-1. It's quite dynamic, and we give Saka more space than when Odegaard plays. We don't crowd the same area there, so he gets 1v1. So, I thought it was interesting. I thought it was I think even with Odegaard, it's the kind of game where the first half was going to be tight. I just think that was what that first half was going to be. We tried a few pops over the top to Gyokeres that were starting to kind of work or create situations. But I think the first half was all about patience, and the second half was always going to be where it opened up.
Yeah. Yeah. All right. I'm going to hit my headline if that's okay with everybody. And my headline is Saka can lead us to glory. What an unbelievable player we have. And he was in the kind of form that can win you a title before he got injured last season. He is showing that he is going to be in the kind of form this season to do literally whatever he wants. He's been given more freedom maybe by Mikel in this system. Maybe the way players are rotating positions more has unlocked the opportunity for him to move across the front line, to travel across the pitch more. And he's setting people up. He's setting himself up. If he wants to go to the byline, he gets to the byline. If he wants to get inside, he cuts inside and he gets there. That one play where he carried the ball basically all the way to the goal. Yeah, just dribbled, beat a guy, carried it, stopped, and they're terrified. He had little flicks to play people on. He was playing 1-2s, and Fulham couldn't live with him.
I'm terrified, and he's on my team.
Yeah, I mean, he's just such a special player, and he's entering that phase of his career where I think he's the piece you need to win the big things. I've never seen a team win big things without a star. Liverpool, obviously Salah. City had De Bruyne. They've had Kun Aguero. They have Erling Haaland, right? I mean, Dembele was a Ballon d'Or winner. I should have mentioned with City. They had Rodri, by the way, who's also a Ballon d'Or winner. Barcelona for all those years with Messi and Ronaldo at Real Madrid, and the teams that you think of that are iconic. When Arsenal were iconic, we had Thierry Henry, and whatever you want to say about Vieira and Pires and all the other incredible players we had all across the pitch. It's that superstar piece that can lead you to win things, and I think Bukayo Saka is our superstar that can lead us to glory. Clive, I am blown away by him, and he looks like he is not fucking around. You know what I mean? He's very much up for the challenge, I think.
What's Clive laughing at?
Well, I thought Elliot's so great. So we speak about Saka earlier on. I said, well, I won't talk about him because I'll leave it for stock rising later on. Yeah, then Elliot takes it in the headline.
That's called a rug pull in this business.
I just think you're brilliant.
You know what it means? It means we get to stock rising other guys. Clive, we get a section for Saka, and we get to stock rising.
He is. You can name the podcast after him, really, because you're absolutely right. And there are moments when you need someone to lift you up. Right? And offensively, he was everything, right? So these are the days you get measured on. There are other days when we're doing well, we're bopping the ball about, mate, come off, sit down. Other people are doing it. But on this day, you did it. And I thought it was great because there were a few people a little bit rusty around him. I thought him and Tim Wright, I thought they were just tremendous in this game, and that side, they've got so many moves. They really have, If they give the ball away, both of them are really great tacklers. They'll just win it back. So if you're a defender, you're thinking, I've got the ball, but I'm not out of dodge yet. I've got to get past these two. They just get it back off me again. And they're excellent defenders. They're excellent attackers. They've got loads of moves in them. They're so comfortable on the ball. What really stood out to me was their standards. And I was watching, there was a period when Leo was doing his, I'm going to nutmeg past you. He does that, and he does it a few times. He did it twice. He gave the ball away. The ball switched to Timber's side. Timber just sort of said, tackled it, won it back. But he turned around and he shouted to Leo, come on. You know what I mean? That's a left winger, right back left winger. He said a few other things. I don't want to go through that now because we're a family show. Leo, No, and he rollicked him, and I loved it because I was thinking exactly the same. How many of us are tweeting the word sloppy? Do you know what I mean? It was just sloppy, wasn't it? And it was him and Saka that said, "Nah, we're not having this." You know, and that's just what you want. So hope they get an extra day off for that because they were both excellent.
So on the FOTMob app, they give you notes about a player's performance in addition to the stats. And usually it's a note like, so-and-so had the most touches, or so-and-so took the most shots. Bukayo Saka was the player of the match with a rating of 8.5. Bukayo Saka completed the most dribbles in the match. Bukayo Saka created the most chances in the match. Bukayo Saka was the most fouled player in the match. Bukayo Saka won the most duels in the match. How about that? 14 duels won, 13 defensive contributions, 13 touches in the opposition box, 6 chances created, 6 successful dribbles, not to mention a couple shots to go with it. He's just extraordinary. And you know what I love? You know what I really love? He had the 3rd most touches.
You know what, Elliot? I was just about to say that. I just saw 86 touches, and I thought
86. When was the last time Bukayo Saka had 86 touches? And that's the thing, Clive, because this isn't Bukayo Saka saying, well, if the ball comes to me, I'll influence the game. This is Bukayo Saka making himself available, calling for the ball, finding the places where the ball can get to him, the team knowing it needs to get to him. And you know what? Whether you think Victor Gyokeres is a superstar or not, or Leo Trossard is a superstar or not, we're missing Nani, and we're missing Kai, and we're missing Odegaard. They're pieces we need to complement Saka. But no one ever questioned whether Gakpo and Diaz were enough to win a title because of the form Salah was in. If Saka can be this, all the other pieces are going to be enough, Paul. And I just wonder what you think of that, the fact that he had 86 touches to go with all the other incredible stats we listed.
Yeah, well, the other stat is when I look at my notes and like there's a blur of notes on my page, right? It's unreadable to humankind.
You take notes.
Yeah. Everything is Saka involved in every bloody thing we do. Early on, I thought, I might be getting a sneaky pick here of Saka stock rising before like the real stuff had happened. Like he was moving up my charts in terms of who might be a stock rising before we got the result, before we got the goal. And I'm like, maybe I'm seeing something other people won't see. Maybe they'll say, oh, you can't pick that one because he's always good. And like, just as the game goes on, the cream rises to the top. He's masterful. They know where the trouble's coming from. They can't stop him. I just thought he was at levels in this game. And we didn't crowd him. That's the thing I'm seeing this season. We're trusting him. We're leaving him on his own. You know, players will combine, but we're not trying to get 3 or 4 guys in. We're letting him take them on 1v1. And he's absolutely mincing and rinsing them. And like the other stat you don't have is 400 tackles ridden rather than going down. He wants, like, for all the shit he's getting out there, for all the begrudgers, all the knockers, that guy wants to play football. He wants to stay on his feet and hurt you, and he rides tackles all day long.
Clive?
Yeah, I just saw 5 fouls against him.
Yep.
And my own personal opinion is some of the fouls were soft, but I'm not sure if anyone got a yellow card against him. I think Sessegnon must have made 4 of those fouls. And I just think the referee just needs to just walk up and just say, "Oh, mate, you know, I know you're only pulling him by the waist and stopping him going forward, but I've got to talk to you because I have to manage the game. Just let him just do it." It's like, well, people are going to keep doing it, and I only care about us and the longevity of one of us. Well, basically our best player. So I just need him booked. You know, you need to send a message say, I'm just going to not let you foul him 5 times and no one get a card. You know, but that's just not the way it works. And when he does get fouled in the box, we all know what happens, right? So I feel for him because he's targeted because he's so good at protecting the ball. Everyone knows what he does, particularly at Odegaard there. Everyone knows where it's all going. And today was probably one of the first times it felt a little bit like last year. Would that be fair?
Yeah.
They had a go for the first 10, 15. They went into a mid, then dropped into a low. This felt like last year's Arsenal. And I haven't felt that this season yet. You know, I thought we were very varied and I thought we were good. You know, Calafiore's addition probably was the only difference to last year's Arsenal because Calafiore never really got going.
What a goal by Calafiore too, by the way. Yeah. Shame he's offside, obviously, but shame that had to be off. That
beautiful goal. Unbelievable goal. What a player he is. I thought he had a great game. I thought he was needed. I thought he was dropping into the middle and dominating So what did Fulham do? They stuck Jimenez out to the right wing on occasion and starting to target that area. And Gabriel got run a couple of times. So Mikel said, Calafiore, you come out of that hole. You stand in left back again now. They tried to target him by bringing on Adama and etc. And I thought he had a great game. He had 2 90s for Italy, and I was worried about him in this game. And I was even thinking that Miles may start. Miles may start in the week, by the way.
Yeah, I think
against
so.
Atletico Madrid. I think Europe suits him, but I thought Calafiore was excellent.
Yeah. So let's just do this super quick then, Paul, since we're on a Saka section. Do you have any problem with him overturning it? I'll just set the table for this. Here's what I'll say.
Yeah, I do.
Look, if your view of that is the guy got the ball, why are we talking about this? That I will not argue it. I'll just tell you, I think there is knee-on-knee contact right about the same time or slightly before he gets the ball.
It's before. It's clearly before.
All right, just hang on. Okay. I agree.
Sorry,
I see it that way.
I'm very wound up about this.
I see it that way. But here's my point. Whether or not you think that's a penalty, to me, that is a clear example of re-refereeing a close decision where it could be a pen or it could not be a pen. The ref on the pitch gave it as a pen, and they've re-refereed it. And that, for me, Paul, is why I'm pretty annoyed about it.
Yeah, 100% sign up to that. There's no reason to overturn that. He doesn't he got a touch on the ball. He gets a touch on the ball by going through the knee. He clearly hits the knee first. If he doesn't get the ball, that's a foul in the middle of the pitch. It's a penalty. So the contact it's not just, not every contact is a foul. That's a foul unless he gets the ball. And it's only not a penalty if he gets the ball first. He needs to go through the player to get to the ball. Now, at the end of the day, if he hadn't called it, I wouldn't expect them to overturn it with VAR. Having called it, there's no reason not to call it, to maintain that decision. He clears Saka out. What's there to talk about? He clearly knee on knees Saka before he gets to the ball for a stud on the ball. So he has to go through the player to get that ball. You look at his leg fully extended. He cannot touch that ball without going through the player.
Yeah, Clive?
Yeah, I mean, there are sort of unwritten rules in football. If he's one of our players, we would say, mate, why are you going to ground for in the box?
Yep.
What are you doing that for? Because when you go to ground, referees always give it. Now, the thing is that the VAR film was really quite clear. So, we're humans. We want to see that penalty given. When he gave it, we all went, yes, let's get Gyokeres to score 2-0. Thank you very much. Now you can play football. We can all relax. Right? So our minds are set on that penalty. But then the film, they showed it. They kept showing the knee on knee. So I thought, it is a penalty then. You know what I mean? Oh, they're going to see that. Then they don't see it. It's like, So now you say to yourself, what is it? What is going on? We've had 2 penalties turned down. Maybe the Gyokeres one, I'm 50-50 on that. But this one, actually, the VAR had a really good angle and you could see the contact. And there's a picture going around where the contact and the ball is separate to the foot. So you can see the contact on the knee and it's a freeze frame. If guys on Twitter can do that, then why can't the VAR do that? And it just makes you lose a little bit of confidence. So disappointing, really. Disappointing.
I've always said this. I want penalties to be harder to win. I want them to be harder to win. I mean, Saka is traveling out of the box. He's not squared up to goal. It's an incredibly harsh thing there if that leads to an 85% chance at a goal. It's very harsh. I want penalties to be harder to win. I don't want the referee re-refereeing the game through VAR. That's what we were told would not be done. So to me, that is what was done here. And I'm going to just show you that freeze frame. I'm going to show you that freeze frame really quickly for those who are watching, to Clive's point. And again, let's be clear, right? We don't have to go on too much longer about this, but I'll read Mikel's comment. Mikel on Arsenal's overturned penalty. The only thing is it clear and obvious if it takes that long? I've just been told it wasn't a penalty, so they made the right call. I was just a bit surprised at how long the process took. And that is a good point. If you need that long, are you re-reviewing it? Here's the still shot. What do we think? He makes contact after that. So the knee has gone on the knee. And like I said, I don't know that I want this to be a penalty, but it was given a penalty, and it has to stay that way. Let's wrap up on this, Paul.
Elliot,
30 seconds or less.
Remake my point. Look how fully extended his leg is, and he's got contact against Saka. There's no way he gets to that ball from there without going through Saka. He can't get to the ball without clearing the player out. That's why it's a foul. He got contact on the ball. Even if the contact is arisen beforehand, like clearly it is, he can't get to the ball without going through the player.
Yep. Okay. I don't want to drag us down too far down this road, and we've probably gone too far, so I apologize, but it is a talking point. It's one worth discussing. You know what? We won, and we don't need to have a dodgy penalty. If you see it as a dodgy penalty, deciding it, so great. I would say that this is a game, too, where we definitely missed some of the pieces that weren't available. Mikel's been talking post-match about the load and the missing pieces and why you need a deep squad, and I think, that's totally fine. Okay, let's move on from headlines into stock rising. And Clive, I know you would have liked to have given one to Saka. We're going to skip Saka because we did a whole Saka section. So now you're stuck having to pick a different one.
I'm going to go... I
don't know who that is.
I'm gonna go Zubimendi.
Okay.
I liked his performance. I like Timber's performance. I've sort of spoken about him already. So Zubimendi, I think he really comes. I think the players trust him. Well, I know they trust him. They give him the ball, and he really does calm things down. And think about it. We missed a day's training this week. He's in a coat. Everyone's worried about him. Wonder if he's going to start. He starts, and we really need him. And I think where he's so good is he's so available. When you're on the ball, you know you can give it to him because he always knows when to move into space to receive it and just keep it moving really, really calmly and quickly. And he never gets caught on it. He knows where he is. He jumps into the middle of a space. He hides behind people, jumps out at the right time. You really need that when you're away from home and it's 0-0. You're really looking. There's always a word I use sometimes. It's called comfort. You're looking for comfortable people that make you feel good. They make you feel comfortable. He gets the ball. He just gets us going. He dinks a couple out of play, but I quite like that. I like the fact he threatens the back line. You don't want to just play in front all the time. He fizzes it out to Saka. I wonder what the pass combination was. Zubimendi to Saka. I like that. Important. Miss out the fullback on occasions and just go straight to him. Saka gets loads of touches and he's man of the match. You got to see the guy that's got them worried and give him it, overfeed him. He did that really, really well. Recognized the stress on that side, and what a player he is. I felt for Norgard. If he goes 2-0, Zubimendi's off that pitch, mate. He's off, and Norgard is holding that game. But we kept him on for the full game. It wasn't overly stressful, but I thought he was critical. Drops between centre backs, cleared the ball in the first half. I think he's a really, really good player.
Yep, I think he is too. Paul, you want to give us yours?
Yeah, I'm going to go with maybe slightly. I'm going to go with Gabriel. I know he did not have the greatest game to start with. He looked
a couple of sloppy giveaways that definitely led to that first 15 minutes being harder than it needed to be. We just gave the ball away a bit, which pulled Fulham into a game that they weren't really trying to be in. So, but go ahead.
And it's a calculated bet that somebody else is going to pick Timber because somebody needs to pick Timber because he was fantastic.
I wasn't going to because I was hopeful that one of you would.
Yeah.
Well, I sort of spoke about him, didn't I? So I thought I didn't really.
He's covered. He's covered.
Yeah,
it's almost like him and Saka are beyond debate, right, in terms of stock rising. So, I think Gabby came into the game. He totally wrapped up Raul Jimenez in this game. He got to everything just before him, and that guy's obviously an utter handful. He's crucial, on the set piece goal from the corner. It's the Gabriel flick on. But I sometimes wonder how good are Arsenal at set pieces without Gabriel? Not nearly as good. Not every time, but every time we score a goal, it seems like he's the crucial piece of it. He didn't put it in the back of the net, but they got two guys on him for the corner. He dances through both of them, rises highest, flicks it on, absolutely unlocks this game. And I think was defensively masterful once he got over he's been on an airplane, I assume, to Brazil and back and who knows what. So I can kind of forgive him 15 or 20 minutes of travel sickness on
Yeah.
the ball, whatever. I thought defensively he wrapped this up for us. So kind of my sneaky pick. There are two players on the pitch I think who deserve the stock rising ahead of him, but I did not want to forget him.
Clive, it sounds like you want to weigh in on that.
Oh no, I agree 100%. 100%. There's nothing more to say there. We are lucky to have these two centre backs. To be honest, Saliba was equally as good.
Yeah.
I thought he was equally as good. I thought if you look at the scores of all our players, I thought the back four were excellent. All of them. They were absolutely excellent. And
this was a 1-0 where they didn't make it. Like, you have your bit of nerves, but like you just know this team can do that. They can get the goal and they can take it home. And like, I don't want to forget, I agree with you. It could have been Saliba, but I think the critical guy to keep them quiet was probably Gabriel, because he had the most 1v1s against Raul.
He did. Raul remember the first jump? Raul jumped out of his boots. I thought, he always plays well against us. Always. Here we go. Here he comes. You know what I mean? Yeah. And but Gabriel got after him and then dealt with him. I just think the real stock rising was the back four, wasn't it? And we could have spoken about all of them. So I thought they were all excellent.
And Calafiori defensively has really upped it.
Really upped it. And he's churning out the minutes. And as we sit here now talking after 1-0 win, we are literally saying we haven't got much to say about that back four at all that was negative, apart from maybe a couple of rusty moments in the first 5. That's it. The rest of the game, they were absolutely faultless. Really
We're just lapping the field defensively. I mean, this is the thing too, right? I mean, teams don't try to play us. The only reason Fulham were in the game in the first half at all is we gave them the ball. If we hadn't, they would have never had it. So we are going to hear from Tim from the ground in a moment too. I'm going to do that between stock rising and stock falling. So we'll get that in here. But I'm going to do a stock rising. Now, I want to explain how I'm doing this so you don't get mad at me. The whole point of stock rising is meant to be that you pick someone whose stock has room to rise. So the two guys that I think were big candidates for stock rising today were Timber and Rice, Saka notwithstanding. I'm not going to pick Timber and Rice because, like this NVIDIA stock chart we're looking at, they're already sky high, man. Do you need to pick Declan Rice or Jurriën Timber to have a chat about them? They're two of the best players in the world, okay? That's a boring chat. So I'm going to give us more interesting chat, and I'm going to say Gyokeres second half.
Okay.
I think Victor Gyokeres was poor in the first half, like much of our attack. A bit moribund, a bit slow. We're playing too much in the wrong areas. The first phase of buildup wasn't working. The ball was at the defender's feet a lot. There was this 4-2-4 kind of mid-block that Fulham were in that was making it hard for us to find our way around, and we just didn't get the ball into the right areas that much in the first half. We started to grow into it late in the first half, and then I think we were much better at progressing the ball and finding spaces in the second. And Gyokeres was found with a couple of those little darting runs in behind. He had 2 stinging shots that were well saved. What did we want to see? Can he get his shots off faster and firmer? Can he strike the ball the way we know he can? He did. He ran in once behind where he had a cut back where he didn't quite get the purchase on it. He was winning the hold-up balls that were being played up to him. He had one where he played in, was it Saka? He played someone in really well. I'm spacing on it. But I just think his involvement...
And he was muscling his center back, right? Mm-hmm. Continually. He was getting the better of them, moving them around. So, I thought this was big for Ramahum. And he grew into the game. I thought the Gyokeres thing was working early on in it, in that we were using it. It just wasn't coming off, and he looked a little sluggish. Then he got better.
Yeah, and look, I don't want to keep damning him with faint praise where people say, where is the bar for this guy? He needs to score goals. I get it. But if he keeps getting stinging shots like that from inside the box, if he keeps getting those touches in those areas, if players keep playing him when he makes that little darting run, it's going to come. I think he was close to winning a penalty. I think he did a lot of things right. And after the first half, I was not feeling that way so much. So I think it's also a good sign that at a time when Mikel is talking about players being fatigued and the load, that this is a guy who grows into games, that can still look fresh late on in a game. I was kind of bummed when we took him off for Norgard. I kind of still wanted us to have that outlet because he was providing a really nice outlet as Fulham started to play a bit more. So, Clive, do you think that's a fair one, or is the bar too low to be giving him a stock rising here?
No, I think there are some factors here, Elliot, why he wasn't so good in the first half. Maybe that'll come out in the stock falling. I think. Look, we need that player at the moment. He's our most robust, aggressive, forward target that we have that can move centre backs around. And every time that, although he looked a little bit like last season, Saka's eventually got more space as the game went on, as they get tired and they have to work. We have to work that side. Gyokeres was really, really good in that side. I thought he was fine. I'm looking at him and I just want him to score. You feel a bit sympathetic. Remember when Kai wasn't scoring when he first came and everything looked a little bit off, and you're deep down in your heart, you think, just get a goal and get you going. Gyokeres had his get-going game against Newcastle, but he's never had a chance to rest. And I think he needs rest. He needs to get sharp, and he's not getting the time. And so that's where we are with him. I thought he was fine. It's so important he's there. Even if he's playing average, it's important he's there for the rest of the team. I think there's some things I look at when he's going to pin people. When the ball comes up to him, he knows what he wants to do in the first time when the ball comes up to him. The next thing isn't there in his head. He's waiting for a foul. That's Portugal disease, right? In Portugal, you get there first, you get the foul, right? So in England, you don't. You got to get there, set your feet, and then spin off the block, go off it, and retain your balance and stay on your feet. If you stay on your feet and you're set and you're protecting the ball, you'll get the foul. At the moment, he's too easy to throw to the floor. So he needs to get better at that. It's becoming, because he's making the runs and he's enticing his teammates to give him the exit. It comes into him and he needs to retain it. Simple as that. You got to retain it. I don't care about the chances across the box. That'll all happen. A bit more luck. He's very unfortunate, some rebounds for the keeper, but he's there, right? So we all know he's going to score. But that part of the build-up protection needs to improve for me. And I need to talk to him about it.
Yeah, fair enough.
And
there are two
throw him
moments
to the floor. Yes, throw him to the floor.
2 moments. Okay. 2 moments. No clue what that was. Is that a reference?
Yes. Life of Brian, the Wascala spirit.
Okay.
Bravado, a touch of daring do. Throw him to the floor.
I love the Life of Brian. I did not pick up on that, and I apologize. Okay, so the 2 moments I want to call out from him. One, the sort of aimless Leo ball that he just kind of floats into the box. It's the one where Gyokeres winds up blazing over. But that's what he did in Portugal, right? The defender couldn't get around him. The defender couldn't live with him. He read the ball well. He got on it. He just blazes over. The finish is all that's missing. And then the other one, if Martinelli follows in his stinging shot with a better finish, I thought Martinelli did pretty poorly there. Like, that ball's just sitting there and he kind of hits it down into the ground into Leno. I realize it's not like an easy chance, but if Martinelli follows that up, that's a goal that seals the game for us, that comes from Gyokeres just turning and rasping one of those firm shots that the keeper can't hold. So I thought there were things there. Yep. Mm-hmm.
Sorry, Elliot. I thought you finished.
Never.
I think there's. I heard someone speak about Gyokeres before he's coming. They said when he spots a weak defender, he turns into a beast. Right. So Joachim Andersen's quite a strong, heavy guy, and I think he goes into him, but he doesn't dominate those guys. The other guy that's playing at the back there till he came off, he went for him. And when he sees a weak defender, he really goes for him. And I think he needs to realize how physical he actually is and just go for everybody. Yeah. Just go for everybody, weak or not, just go for them. So he picks on the weak sometimes. And I think there isn't as many weak defenders in our league as does in Portugal. It's just little things I'm learning about him. But I have to say, I want him to start the game, and he did, and he was important. I want him to get a goal, just for him, really. I think he needs it. And that penalty, he would have got that penalty today. Guaranteed he would have got it, and he scored it. So I was really gutted for him on that regard.
8 touches in the box, 3 shots from within about 8 yards. I mean, if he keeps doing that, it's going to be fine. Okay, yeah. We need to get to stocks falling. I think it's a day where we might as well. But first, we're going to hear from Tim from Craven Cottage. Okay, so I have to admit I didn't see it that way, Tim. But, as usual, I'm sure people will agree with you. It's just I have a slightly different view, that's all.
What a buffoon. A buffoon.
It's what you lot do to me when I don't know. I think,
Clive, were you just put off by what Tim said? I was surprised he said some of that stuff about us. Like that wasn't expected.
He's a smart man. But I also know the Fulham away trip might involve some beers, so I don't know. Let's see how we go.
There's a boat trip that I know some people were on, and so actually interesting. So there's a boat trip that goes down the Thames to Craven Cottage that Red Action puts on, and apparently some Spurs supporters, when they went under one of the bridge, threw eggs down at them on the boat.
Oh, did they?
Yeah. Yeah, old school. Okay, let's hit the stock falling in a lighthearted way, of course. And to kick it off, let's have the person that everybody wants to get mad at. Paul, who do you have as stock falling?
I have a very mild stock falling for Eze.
Okay. I had him as well. Yep.
Yeah, I mean, he wasn't bad. He did some okay stuff. It just didn't convince, right? He didn't. This was, you're the 10. You're brought in to kind of cut open these deep-lying defenses. And I thought he was okay.
I was very, very disappointed in him. I thought he was terrible.
And yeah, okay. Well, he was okay. And in that sense, not good enough, right? This was a game you're really looking for him to have an impact. And when I go through his notes, it may be my notes, they may be littered in Saka. There's almost no mention of Eze. And he looks like a guy trying to find a foothold in the game. He didn't know, we didn't know where to find him. He didn't know where to pop into. He really kind of was peripheral. Now, in part of this is, look, what we're Fulham all about, shape. Clogging up the middle, clogging up the space where Eze was supposed to work his magic, and it just never really happened. I totally get why when the time came, Arteta yanked him and said, the upside I'm giving up is minimal. The downside is they run through us in midfield because he's not going to have that kind of presence defensively and without the ball. And I think we lose a lot in terms of our press as well with Eze there. We really didn't take it to them with our pressing in the game. Yeah. Not that he's terrible at any of it, but it's just not quite enough.
We had no access to him, and the thing that Odegaard does so well is he makes sure that you can see his boots, you can get the ball to him, and you can find him if he has to drop in. He does it. Eze stayed between the lines where there wasn't really space to find him, but there were two things that really bothered me. One, so he does have the ability, and I love this about him. When he receives the ball, even in tight spaces, his touch is so clean and so close, he can turn and face. And I love a midfielder who doesn't just wall pass it back, he'll turn and face. But he lost the ball in positions you cannot lose the ball. In central spaces where he tried to do too much and he lost the ball. And I wasn't impressed by his out of possession energy and effort. I thought he was run past at times, and in transition he wasn't as effective. Look, there'll be more to come from him, but this 10 thing with him, it just didn't look like it worked. And actually the halftime sub I wanted was Marino on for Leo and just let him go out. Because at halftime, I didn't think Leo was doing much of anything either, by the way. I don't think it was a great performance for him. And so I would have said, let's get Eze out to the left and let's bring Marino or Ethan on. But it all worked out in the end. I mean, Clive, this is a very different type of midfielder and type of player than Mikel's had. It's going to take time for that to work or not work. What do you think?
I think the best Eze is the left side of the line down the middle of the pitch.
Yep. Yeah.
I think it's just a natural body orientation for him. Obviously, he's got talent. He can play on the right side of the line, but I was never sold on that side of the line because I think he's fantastic rolling inside. When he rolls inside with his right foot, the world opens up for him. And that's it. He's a talented boy. So he can play on the right side. The problem with him is you can't have a day like today where we have been fairly ball dominant and he has 30-something touches. Mm-hmm. That's the only stat you need. Then you have to interrogate why that was. And this is what he's doing. He's sleeping, mate. He's sleeping and he's being shadow marked. You know what I mean by shadow mark? Yeah. Where people are blocking his lines and he is not dummying people. Zubimendi, watch how he dummies. He stays in the shadow, dummies, comes out into the light, right? So he needs to, by the way, he knows, if I know this, and I'm flipping old bloke who never did it when I played, but I can see it, mate, he needs to do that. He needs to have a much more urgency to create a lane to receive the ball. Once he receives the ball, he can dribble people, he can get tackled. I'm not bothered. That's just part of the game. But your job as attacking midfielder is to receive that second pass out. You can't be hiding behind people. If someone else did it, we would go into him. We'd go into him. We really would. So he needs to step out of the shadows and into the light. When he plays off the left, he hasn't got to think about that because the ball comes to him and he's like a bounce board. And his first touch takes you back against the grain, Everyone's unbalanced. What he does then is he unbalances you again. And this is all natural to him on the right side. I don't think it's as natural. Hence why I was not in a rush to put him in that position. He can obviously do it, but for me, he needs to see the pitch from the left-hand side. And I know you can choose which lane, but he receives it from the right, and his first touch says, I'm in control now. I can see all my runners. I can see everything around me. If someone goes around on the left-hand side, I can dummy turn out. If I start left, I can dummy go line. He's just got more moves from that side of the pitch. And I wasn't the only one probably calling for Ethan at halftime. A nervous fan. I wanted Ethan to come on. You know why? Because Saka was killing it.
Mm-hmm.
He was killing it. And he was looking for a connection inside. We've grown used to Odegaard. Odegaard knows where the dope. He knows where the dope is. He'd have been over with Saka. There'd have been rat-a-tat-ing that side. It would have been manslaughter if Odegaard was playing. Because he would have gone straight in there. Saka needs to be there. He's got his man. I just need to give him a combination. So when Saka was coming off the side, he was going back to Timber. So Timber was playing right 10. That's why Timber's high in all our minds. He was underlapping. He was connecting with Saka brilliantly. And the third man to really destroy them wasn't there. But he wasn't there on the left neither. So where was he? 37 touches later, mate. That's not enough.
Nope.
And so he needs a proper chat about being available, and I don't want to set up the intensity because there were periods in the first half where we were a little bit harem-scarum and sloppy, and he slowed it down really nicely. I thought, yeah, we needed that. We needed that for a few minutes. But I need him to see where the danger is and go and support that guy better. So at Newcastle, his support to Gyokeres was outstanding, right? So, and I think that's been probably one of his best games, from an output perspective. But Forest at home, when he played left and Madueke was on the right, he was outstanding in that game as well. And so it's there. He's just a little bit sluggish, right? A little bit sluggish.
Yeah, I mean, once he has the ball at his feet, there's so many things he can do, but obviously you can't just come alive when the ball's at your feet. You got to come alive before that. And I do think the funny thing is, I went into Discord, and as soon as we got the 1-0 lead, I went in Discord and I wrote, Mikel Arteta is desperate to get Marino on and Eze off now. And 2 minutes later, that's exactly what he did. And I just think being available is important and all that stuff's important, but the losses of possession in central spaces that led to counters, that's the stuff that's going to get him taken off the pitch. That is not going to fly for Mikel because we're too good defensively to lose a goal from giving the ball away stupidly in bad positions, and there was a lot of that. By the way, he wasn't the only one guilty of that. Gabby was at times, and so there were a few of those. But let's not go too much further on this because I don't think it needs. It just wasn't his day, and he's still learning. Clive, who do you have as your stock falling?
I haven't got any more. I haven't really got anyone else. I mean,
I think there's some options.
You give me some options, then I'll talk about. I don't.
Ange?
No, I don't care about him.
Adu's reputation.
He's the luckiest manager alive. So yeah, I haven't got one.
If he hadn't scored, would Leo have been in the frame? I think it was a mixed performance.
Yeah, Leo was sloppy in the first half. He was trying some crazy golf passes. You pass it off the side of someone's heel and go through the gap and go through. He's highly technical, right? But he stuck into the game and had some really good patches towards the end and obviously scored the goal. Yeah. So again, an adult's performance from him. I was thinking as the game started, I was thinking, oh mate, here we go, Leo. He was fantastic for Belgium in the week, by the way. I watched that game against Wales. He played the full game. I'm thinking, oh mate, here we go. This is a Leo I know. He does a crap game back from internationals, but he got a rollicking at halftime. I thought he stepped up second half and did really, really well. I want to know what the halftime team talks about. A few people were better.
How about this as your stock falling? Do you want to do a little stock falling section just on urgency to progress the ball in the first half ball progression, or first half build up, something around that? Can I talk you into a?
Well, we can say first half if you want to. I think first half of the first half. And we're all watching this game. We're all excited. Everyone's told us how great we are. Everyone said we've got the best squad. We got the best squad. We're such a great side. They're favourites, blah, blah, blah. They look solid. They don't concede a goal. we've all drunk the Kool-Aid over the last couple of weeks, thinking, "Oh, this is really quite good." We come out in the first half, and none of us in our previews were thinking it's post-international break. We could be a bit rusty. None of us said that. You know what I mean? Like we blank out. I said, we just blanked out. Why did we do that for? So last time we played Fry's first home game after the international break, we were brilliant. I just completely wiped my mind from it. I thought we started the game really sloppily, and so yeah, ball progression didn't really matter, Elliot. We just were not accurate. We were not accurate. We were too many times running back, and wasting energy. So yeah, that was the only thing that disappointed me. I wanted us to do a Newcastle, come out sharp and get loads of shots, because that's a great memory for all of us. But it wasn't that way, right? But it's Fulham, and that ground has probably cost us one league title. That team has cost us the league title.
Yeah,
and it's one of those places that we haven't played well there for ages, right? Like Old Trafford. So I'll just get on the bus, mate. Get on the bus.
Paul, any thoughts on that?
No,
Clive's
I think
stock falling, that he jumped to, leapt to, stuck the boot in, immediately said, "I've got my stock falling." First half of the first half. That's what it is.
Yeah, look, I think you grade this game on a curve in that it was set up for us to not look very good for a while. Their shape's really, really good. They were very disciplined. We didn't make any mistakes, and it was going to take some time for us to grow into the game, move it around faster and faster. It was probably going to take the second half, and that's how it turned out. I think you can overanalyze this game, and I think, I'm with Clive, I don't really have outside of Eze, there's nobody, I think, Trossard was a little bit of a mixed bag. Even before
the first half versus the second half.
Yeah, I think on average they were okay. Even without the goal, I think Trossard was probably mostly okay. And some games you can overanalyze. This was one of those where there wasn't that much football to analyze. Nobody was bad. There are players you wanted more from. I wanted a bit more from Eze. That was about it. You really got to go hunting to pick an on the field stock falling here. Sometimes you just don't do it.
I do think.
You know what, Elliot? Can I say one thing?
Please say many.
I was obviously nervous watching the game, like everybody, particularly as 0-0. But you know what gave me encouragement was when we started to get going, their crowd went completely quiet.
Yeah.
And sometimes when you're there and you're seeing the players move around, it's almost like that's the best place to be. Because you can see everything. You can see people lagging. You can see people tired. You can see their manager not at it. You can just see it all developing. And I think it's one of those games. I wonder what Tim will say, that he probably was relaxed, because he can see it all developing.
Well, we know what Tim's going to say. We just heard it.
We heard it. I heard it. Sure we did.
And so yeah, it's one of those I will message him afterwards. Say, what was it like? I think the crowd told you that we were more dominant than probably we felt in our gut.
Yeah, and by the way, you could tell Mikel said something, because the thing that drove me nuts, and I know Billy Carpenter's written about this, but it's our willingness, especially when the ball's with the center backs, to just see a midfielder who's showing for it, but not give it to him and go around the houses instead. And second half, what did we do? Slip balls into Rice, slip balls into Zubamendi. Those passes were going, and I think Mikel just said, you just got to give him the ball, you guys.
But I also think this is where the patience comes into it. The first half, they're ready. They're all set up for us to come to Craven Cottage. The second half, they're just getting a little tireder. The concentration isn't quite there.
Yeah.
We're moving it a little quicker. We've tweaked a couple of things. It doesn't have to be massively tactical. It's just enough that the puzzles change for them. And that's why there's a patience and a kind of ratcheting up that you see in the best teams.
Clive, can I interrogate that a little bit, Elliot? Because this is something you mustn't do. You mustn't do.
We don't king shame, but I will tell you, I have a thing for being interrogated. So please carry on.
Oh, the thing with the guy Bond, he's in the chair and
where they swing the
whacking
thing
him under his
loved that
his undercarriage.
Please carry on, Clive.
In the
Hit
first
him,
half,
Clive.
In
Hit
the
him
first
hard.
half, we dropped the ball into Eze, and he should have bounced it back. But he said, "You know what? I haven't got my next pass, so I'm going to take on 3 people." And he lost it. And you have got it snapshot in your head, right? That we lost the ball in the center of the pitch. Sometimes a player's standing there in the middle of the pitch, but if he hasn't got the next pass, you do not give him the ball. Just because you can see him standing in free space, where's the picture? If there is no connection, then you don't give him the ball. That's what happened to Eze in the first half. And we can't do that. There must be a pattern there, right? And and sometimes you mustn't just always look for the spare man if there is not another man to pass to. Do you see what I mean?
Yeah.
And so I think that's a key thing. We all take Polaroids of actions in games, but when we get a chance to watch it back in when we know the result, we maybe see why we didn't always play into those areas. That's just my thought.
Yeah. By the way, as I think about it, maybe unlucky not to get a stock rising is Ricardo Calafiore. What a player he is.
Brilliant.
Unbelievable. Okay, so I'll finish my stock falling. I was going to go with Ange, but we already mentioned it, so the joke is out. So I'll say the football calendar in general, and this is going to be a stock rising in sheep's clothing. These internationals, they break everything up. Players, Gabby's flying back from Japan. Martinelli's flying back from Japan, obviously, having been over in Asia for these games. And, players are playing extra games at a time when they could really use a break. And we've talked about it. Clive, you've spoken about specifically that we've lost Gabby to injury the first game after an international break. Was Gabby a little dodgy to start this game? He was. Has he just flown back from Japan? He has. These performances following an international break have cost us titles. We've really struggled with them. And so to go to Craven Cottage and have a professional, controlled performance where we hit the level we needed to beat them is huge because the football calendar is relentless. There's another international break around the corner. And once we get rid of those, the team can start to build a little cohesion and momentum and ideas. And you know what Mikel doesn't get to do? He doesn't get to have them on the training ground and say, let's prepare for Craven Cottage. Here's the plan. They've just flown in. So it's a training session and you're gone. So I think the football calendar is the stock falling, and the stock rising of that is our ability to get a win on a tough away day right after the international break when players have barely just been able to say hello to each other again flying in from all around the world. So I think it's a huge, huge time. And if we're going to win games following international breaks, we're going to be real good because that's been a stumbling block for us in the past, So I think we can leave it on that upbeat note. We'll have a main pod on Monday. We got a full week of content coming your way this week. I don't think we'll do a rewatch of this one, so I think we'll find
coward.
First half rewatch. First half. We'll rewatch the first 27 minutes of this game 3 times. So we'll do it Monday, Wednesday, Friday. We play on Tuesday. So obviously we'll have main pod Monday. We'll have an instant reaction Tuesday. We'll have something for you Wednesday, main pod Thursday, and then maybe what we'll do is an office hours on Friday or something. We'll see. There's going to be lots of good stuff. So thanks for being here. Obviously, we love you very, very much, as we always say, because it is always true. Thanks again to Tim, who, despite the fact that I fully disagree with what he said and can't believe he said it, appreciate his contributions. Paul, thank you very much.
Woohoo!
We're top of the league, you guys. We are top of the league. Clive, thank you.
Thank you very much.
Yeah. Now we get to watch United, get beat by Liverpool, but still, we get to watch it tomorrow. That'll be fun. And the football calendar just relentless, so there'll be a lot more stuff to go. Okay, everybody. Hope you enjoyed it. As I think we enjoy you being here, and it means the world to us. And I am going to find the right outro video. There it is. Okay, set. We love you, and we'll talk to you after Arsenal 10. Let you know.